One love, God bless, Fire and us in here. And today I'm here to talk to you about ethical cleansing. So, we're in a time right now where ethics is truly lost. Ethics is, I wouldn't say truly lost. I'll say ethics is losing its true nature more and more. Our definition of ethics is becoming very flexible as the years go by. So what is ethics? Ethics is principles. Ethics is morals. Ethics is a code that people live by, a standard of living, a standard of thinking, a standard of interacting. It's certain principles that people hold to, and they expect others to hold themselves to as well. But as time goes on, we're noticing not only ethics truly fading, but being glorified for the fading of the ethics. We are seeing people who lack many principles and get glorified and paid for their lack of principles, lack of ethics. It's very, a confusing time that we live in, and it can be a discouraging time as well, because for people like myself even, we want to push positivity in the world, we want to do good in this world, but in my past I have even found myself slipping more into the bad guy role, because these are the people that are glorified at the end of the day. I could never cross a certain line of actually being bad, being malicious, being knowingly evil in my ways or in my manner. And I always wondered about that in my past. I've always wondered why I always had a fine boundary of ethics I would not cross, a fine boundary of drugs I would not do, of acts I would not commit. I always had a fine boundary. And even when some of those boundaries were stretched and got close, I never crossed those lines, And it's becoming more and more normal in society for us to actually just cross those lines. It's more of people are looking at you strange if you've never stolen something. People are looking at you strange if you, have no tattoos or never gotten in trouble before, never gotten drunk before, never gotten high before, never cheated on anybody before, or even people just look at you strange if you even haven't had sex before. So there's things in society that we now consider strange or out of the norm or super rare that used to be a normal standard. A man that can be loyal used to be a normal standard. A woman who is down to clean and cook for you used to be a normal standard. Holding the door for someone used to be a normal standard. People just being nice in general used to be a normal standard. Socializing used to be a normal standard. Actually eating and enjoying the food that you cook with your family without the TV used to be a normal standard, or us growing at least our own fruits and vegetables used to be a normal standard, But we have lost touch with our normal ways, our normal morals, that we would not cross certain lines and become slaves to our physical selves. But that is what we have done. We have let ourselves become slave to the mind and slave to the physicality of this world, instead of becoming true devotees of the spirit within and throughout all things. We have put a new standard on ethics where it's flexible, where one thing might be unacceptable one year and then the next year it's acceptable. Even with something so, touch and go as snitching on people. 5-10 years ago, it was an unheard of thing for people to just snitch on someone and then still be a celebrity, still be, functioning in society. And of course, there's people that have all the right to snitch. If you're a regular civilian, you can snitch as much as you want. This isn't snitching, this is just protecting yourself. But for these, people that were in the streets, know what they were getting into, to then turn and tell on everybody else they were doing business with. In particular, I have no sides to pick on this. I don't really care, because I'm not over here snitching, neither am I being snitched on. So it doesn't really bother me. But just the standard, just the ethics of, I knew what we were getting into, so I know that there's an ethic of me keeping my mouth closed, yet we've gotten to a point where people don't even care about this anymore. They are fine with telling on all their friends and everything, or, their supposed friends, because really friends wouldn't get you in trouble like this. But they tell on all their supposed friends and, get out of jail, and everything is, fine for the most part. They have to do a little bit of looking over their shoulder and stuff like this, I'm sure, but 9 times out of 10, it seems fine. Even with the online presence and things like this. And then we have, tons of people with allegations and things like this who are still popular rappers and listened to all the time today. People who are known devil worshippers, we're just like, okay, it's fine. The music is good. That's what we care about, huh? It's just the beat is good, and what they're saying, if you can even understand it, it's making your head bob, right? So we're allowing this into our energy, into our vibration, into ourself. We have to get back to our ethics, get back to our standard. We have to see things in this 3D world for what they are, and they are deeper than just the 3D. Everything connects to the spiritual world. The 3D is not something we should be so intrigued by, especially when there is obviously negative influence connected with these things that we are, digesting mentally, physically, or spiritually. If you listen to devil worshippers, if you listen to music that talks about killing, that is satanic, and you're bobbing your head up and down, You're saying what? You're confirming, yes, 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 I agree with all these things into my life. And so it is done. Because when we let ethics slip, even if it's little bits, we are letting sin creep into our life. So you see, even if it's ethics from somebody else that we're letting slip, even if we're not the ones who are maybe completely losing our ethics, even us supporting those who have lost their ethics is us losing our ethics. And in turn, letting us slowly lose ourselves more and more. You see people start with listening to the music, then they want to dress like these people, and then they start to act like these people, and then they want to completely be these people, start making music themselves and all different types of things. You know, tons of kids are going through this right now, and adults. It's when we get back to our ethics that we can find out our true selves and really make art out of passion of shining light in this world, out of a passion to be an example of what Yahweh wants for God's people. The Lord should be working through you. You shouldn't be working against the Lord. You shouldn't be having to curse and gossip and take drugs and talk about drugs and do all these things that all these, famous people are doing to be quote unquote successful. And if you do take this route, I can almost guarantee you that it will only lead you to self-destruction, slowly but surely, and sometimes quickly. So the patient way is actually the fastest and the best way to go about it. A way where you are patient and you are doing things out of the spirit of the Most High instead of out of just the spirit of man. Then you will always succeed in everything that you do, abundantly so. Not just a normal success, but you will succeed abundantly, more than you ever expected. We have to get back to a standard of ethics that aligns with what not only we want, but what this whole entire universe wants, down to the environment, to the sea, to the forest, to the animals, to the plants, to us. We have to figure out how to get back in a line of ethics that will align us and not make us another part of this parasitic problem that we call the human race. You see, being a human is a beautiful opportunity where we have consciousness, but we want to waste it chasing false paper and things like this. We want to chase lazy habits and consumerism. We don't want to grow our food. We want to just buy our food and watch TV. And we want the best new TV. But we're not thinking about, let me grow the best new food with this extra money that I could be buying the best new TV with. Let me go make sure I invest this extra money into some soil instead of getting the best new TV. We'd rather want that best new TV and then just buy our food at the grocery store. We live in a backward society where the loss of things is normalized. We don't value putting effort towards simple things in our life. We don't chop vegetables as much as we used to. We get the stuff at the grocery store that's already chopped up and washed. We don't walk as much as we used to. We rather just, drive or even take one of those scooters there's many things that we have lost in this culture, if we can call it that, when really this society is more of a advertisement melting pot. America is just a big advertisement. America is actually a company. It's like a foundation. It's actually a corporation, and we are all entities of America if we are citizens. We can be almost auctioned off, so to speak. Of course, that would never happen, but this is kind of what we are. We are products of America until we leave America and, find our own path. But this country, America, USA, is truly an advertisement that is only advertising greed, lack, seduction, and self-destruction. And what's very sad is America, with its lack of ethics, is the example for so many other countries, is what so many other people in other countries strive to live. Why would you want to live here? I understand there's more money here, but in general, if you are able to grow everything you need, if you are able to lessen the things that you think that you need and realize what you only actually need, and if you are able to meditate and quiet your mind so that you can actually focus and build discipline so that you aren't so drawn by your mind's desires, then you'll be able to live anywhere, especially if you're able to grow everything that you need, the very first one. And that is something that can be learned easily within a year or two, even less sometimes, when you're very attentive and very, aware of the changes and, different things that you do and how the plants are affected by these things. We don't have to strive to be rich financially. Riches is energy. Riches is a mind state. Riches is something where we feel like we are content and need nothing. This is true riches. We have to get back to a state of ethics, but we're not letting things continue to slip. Before you know it, people will just be committing crimes, and as long as we think they're cool, they'll be able to just get away scot-free. Before we know it, people will become celebrities for the crimes they commit. Well, that's already happened as well. We have to realize our true worth. We have to realize how blessed we are to truly be humans in this world, where we could have been millions of different species of animals, insects, and all different types of things. But we are humans. So we have to realize how much of a blessing that is, and hopefully you're not wasting it. Hopefully the rest of the world wakes up and stops wasting it. We don't need wars. We don't need all this destruction. We don't need all this hate. We don't need all this egotism that is being monopolized. We just need unity, love, and really just peace, inner peace. Just to be able to relax and know that your neighbor has a good head on their shoulders. So if you haven't, please like, comment, share, subscribe. And I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I hope that you have ethics in your life and that you are able to be surrounded by people who also have ethics and don't lead you astray into thinking that cussing and saying, racist slurs and treating women badly and all these different types of things. I just hope that you have ethics in your life and you're living by the way of Yahweh, by the way of the Most High, by the way of Allah, by the way of Buddha, by the way of Krishna, by the way of Waheguru, by the way of whatever you want to call the divine source. But I hope that you live out of the way that the Most High wants us to live, not the way that common man is living. One love.